So it got speech in it. That's quite interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Dire scumbags.
Well, there's a cold open.
Welcome back to Podemup. This month is our first Amiga game in the book club with walk and gun game Walker. Plus, we talk about the newly discovered Sonic 1 prototype, Tibbs gets frustrated with Crash Bandicoot, and I'm seeking vengeance. All that and more on Podemup.
Hello and welcome to Podemup, episode 29.
29, one away from 30.
Yeah, I was going to say 29 of a undetermined number of shows.
Yep.
Probably into the hundreds, to be fair.
Well, I should think so, yeah.
You know, so we're still early days.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm Tibbs.
I'm Ollie.
And this is Podemup. How have you been?
I've been good, thanks. Yeah. Nice use of silence there. You had me on tenterhooks then. I thought you were going to announce something huge, but no, I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm okay. It's all good. Yeah, I was trying to think of. There's a lot of news been going on, so I've just been trying to think of what we're gonna cover first and what's going on.
Well, we should start with our customary what we've been playing, I suppose, shouldn't we?
I suppose we should, yeah. What have you been playing?
What have I been playing? I've been playing a game that I can't talk about because I'm choosing it for our next book club game.
Oh,
so
okay.
That will remain a mystery until the end of the show. I've started it, so I haven't got very far into it, to be fair. But yeah, that's the first thing. Finished Uncharted 1.
Oh yes, good game.
It is a good game, although I didn't care for towards the end where it suddenly turns into a survival horror with zombie monsters.
Yeah.
I mean, what's that about? That's
yeah, it comes out of left field a bit.
It does a bit. Please tell me that's not in 2 and 3 because I hated that.
Do you know what? I kind of get confused about which game was which now.
Yeah.
That there is whichever there are sort of zombie-ish creatures in whichever one where he finds Shangri-La. I think that's the zombie. There's similar sort of zombie possessed people things in that. But it's not like a major plot point. It's just a stage where there's some creatures after you. But I think it's 3. But it's been a long time since I played them.
Fair enough. Yeah. No, I mean because I was sort of getting used to the whole shooting people. It's quite simple AI, so that you kind of get to know how they work, and it becomes a lot more manageable as you go on, just how to shoot these guys and everything, how they pop up and that kind of thing. And then these monsters suddenly come out. They don't have guns, but they just run at you, and the first swipe they give you will kill you. And I didn't. it's in these dark corridors with like you've got your little flashlight, and I didn't sign up for this. Sorry, what's going on? And I almost gave up. But I knew I was so close to the end. I just had to power through, and it's not too long a segment, and they kind of go over that. But I didn't care for that. But other than that, it was a good game. Yeah.
Is that the one with the Yetis? There's like Yeti creatures?
Not Yetis, no. They're sort of weird. I think they've all been cursed by something. They're like people who'd explored it before, and they've all been cursed and turned into sort of these big kind of zombie monster things.
I might be confusing the Yetis with something else. I think there might be one of the Uncharted with Yetis in. I don't know. I'm gonna have to play them again. But it does. It's only like the tail end of the game, and it's not like
it's right at the end.
A major thing.
No. Yeah, so there was that. As a family, we've been playing a favourite from mine and Abby's Wii U days, the Lego City Undercover.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, best Lego game of all time, easily. I think.
I actually saw there's a YouTube video. I don't know how to pronounce the guy's name. It's either Crowbcat or Crowbcat.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But he uploads sort of funny videos usually when a big release has fallen on its arse, and he'll upload a video sort of juxtaposing the pre-release footage with what actually came out.
Right.
And obviously, Cyberpunk 2077 has been like a big, the high-profile failure.
Yeah.
And he posted a video, and a part of the video was showing how the city AI in Lego City Undercover was more advanced than Cyberpunk 2077.
Amazing.
Which was quite funny.
Yeah. It's a lovely little game, really. It's like, I would describe it as GTA for kids almost.
Yeah.
But you play as a policeman, and there's no sort of real violence. It's just little Lego figures, and you're just a policeman, kind of going around. You can jump in any car. You can do all sorts of missions and find things. There's so much unlockables and things in there, and it's just great. I think it's much better than normal Lego games, which are kind of tied to obviously a particular movie license. They've got to follow the story, put the actual movie dialogue in. And this is just much more open because it's a completely original story. The open world makes sense in it. It's just a lovely game. And the reason we're playing it is to get Alice into it, really, because my wife's got loads of nieces and nephews. They've all loved this game since we had it on the Wii U. We've been playing it on the PS4 now. And she loves it. She loves it's the freedom, I think, that kids in particular these days like from console games like Minecraft and that. It's just the sheer freedom of just being able to drive around, walk around, do what you want, really. And it's a great game for her to mess around in, really. So we've all been doing it.
I've never actually played it. I've seen it, but I've never actually sat down and played it. But it looks like good fun, I gotta say.
Oh, it's brilliant. Yeah, I highly.
There's a Switch port of it now as well, isn't there?
Is there? Yeah, there might be.
I think there might be. I'm not sure.
These ones came out a couple of years ago. I'm just trying to think. Yeah, there might actually. I think the Switch port came out when I think it was a launch title for the Switch.
I think it was. Yeah, if it wasn't a launch title, it was very soon after.
Yeah, that's right. It's a slightly enhanced version with 2-player support and things like that. Yeah, so that's been really fun. I've also been playing Panzer Dragoon Remake.
Oh, that was on the Switch as well, wasn't it?
It is on the Switch. I've been playing on the PC version.
Okay, cool.
And there's a good reason why I've been playing on the PC version, which I'll go into. Obviously, it's a remake of the original Panzer Dragoon on the Saturn. I'm a little bit more au fait with the sequel, Zwei, but I love a rail shooter, and they don't come up very often, so I thought but this is the thing, I wanted to get it last year when it came out, and their limited run said they were going to do a Switch, obviously a Switch physical version, so I thought, hang on for that. So when the time came for the release window, the pre-order window, I didn't really have enough money kicking around to sort of justify it. Yeah. So I thought I'll give it a miss. And then sort of almost immediately afterwards, I managed to get a bit of spare money. And I thought, I really wish I could have got that. So yeah, I went on eBay, see if anyone was offering a pre-order. There's a lot of really expensive ones. Found one that wasn't too expensive. Had a look at the seller's sort of reputation. Seemed like a kind of reasonable thing. I thought this is a good, safe bet. So I went for it, and that was my first mistake, basically. Never turned up. If you've been following the Panzer Dragoon Switch physical thing, you'll know that it's taken months and months to actually be released, because they wanted to include all the patches and stuff. A lot of like enhancements and fixes have come out, and rightfully so. They wanted to include it on the Switch cartridge, but that's allowed this bastard of a seller to avoid any responsibility to sending it to me, basically, because it kind of goes beyond eBay's window to secure the money for you, to refund you. So I've talked to eBay about it. They won't lift a finger to help me, basically.
What a scumbag.
Yeah, exactly. So his name is on eBay is 8-bit-games-1986. Please don't buy from this man. He's a con man. Yeah.
We're gonna have to. I don't know if anyone listens to the. I can't remember what it's called now. I haven't listened to it myself for a while. Pat the NES Punk's podcast, completely unnecessary, totally unnecessary podcast.
I don't know that one. No.
They got a section on there, the Scumbag Seller of the Week.
Oh, really?
For like all eBay type shenanigans. I hope we're not going to have to start our own Scumbag Seller of the Week section. No,
I hope not. I mean, it's the first time I've ever been scammed, I think, and it doesn't feel good, frankly.
No.
So that's sort of been kicking off last couple of weeks, really, when it sort of became apparent that it's not going to turn up.
Isn't there a way you can get your money back on it at all?
I don't think so. I've looked at PayPal as well, and they won't seem to do anything about it. When I talked to eBay, they seem to think that I'd never paid for it in the first place, which is obviously a lie, because it's clearly in my PayPal, outgoing. So now I'm kind of stuck, really. The only thing I can do, I mean, I know that he's wandered off with it, basically, because he's blocked me from buying anything else. I've seen the Panzer Dragoon item that he clearly has, because it's his own photos. He's resold it, or resold another copy, so he clearly has them. And he seems to have blocked all my messages. I've made another account, bought something else. He clearly saw the name and address, so he's cancelled that one and blocked me from buying anything else on that one. So it's clear this is a swindle,
Yeah,
so
it's a bit of a swindle.
It's weird though, because other than that, he's got like completely, fine feedback. So he clearly.
It's weird, isn't it?
It's weird because he's not. This isn't clearly something he does.
No, that's what I mean.
This is what he obviously saw. I can't imagine he knew this was going to happen when he ordered those, because he wouldn't know that it was going to take this much time, and then he thought, okay, this has gone beyond 3 months or whatever it is for eBay. I'm going to keep this.
Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah, no, it's a bit rubbish, but one of those things, really. I'm kind of torn between just letting it go, because whenever I think about it, it just makes me angry, and I just think, okay, if you just stop thinking about it, stop worrying about it, it'll go away. And then I'm on the other side of me thinking, how can I exact my vengeance on this man? What is the thing? I come up with all these strange things like, can I somehow get him to send me something? Then because he does offer returns, so I thought, can I get his address, and then I'll have his address and I can send him stuff and things like that, and buy more of his products just so I can leave him loads and loads of negative feedback and drown out the positive ones. But I don't know.
Wow. That's a vengeful side of you I've never seen before.
I know, I know. Well, I don't normally have things to be vengeful about, but it's wound me up, It's just been on my mind for the last...
It's the principle, isn't it?
It is the principle. It's not even the money, because it was kind of like bonus money anyway. I thought I'll just throw it, It was more than I would normally spend on a game. I just thought, I've just come across this. It's something I wanted, I'll just throw it out there. It's not really the money, it's just the principle that he's got away with it,
And the thing is, usually eBay are notorious for just immediately siding with the buyer.
That's right, yeah.
Sellers hate it. There's loads of threads on eBay about how, eBay, no matter what the thing, they'll just immediately take the buyer's side and everything. So to have them, not help you is, just insult to injury, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I guess it's once it goes past a certain point, then they just can't do anything. And I kind of get that, but this is the thing is, it's a pre-order, so you don't really know when it's coming. So it doesn't the rules can't really apply to that. So I mean, because I didn't really know this going in. I've never pre-ordered anything on eBay before, but I certainly won't be doing it again. And I highly encourage no one else to do it, because it's just, you don't know what's going to happen unless you'll be sure that you can get your money, cancel the the whole thing, get your money off eBay before that window ends, whenever it is. I think it's about 3 months. Because it's just a nightmare basically. Yeah. Anyway,
so you got on PC instead.
Yeah, the game was on sale on Steam the other day. And actually, I've just seen that it's on sale on Switch now for the bargain price of only a £5, down from about £22, I think, normal price.
Wow,
so I'd highly recommend picking it up.
I might pick that up after the show.
Yeah, it's well worth it. They've gone for the approach of have the exact same level structure as the original, so it's quite a short game by modern standards. There's only 6 levels; they're quite short, and you see people complaining about that online. But it's kind of like that's the kind of game it is. It's kind of like you're not supposed to just play it and then put it down and go and play something else. It's kind of like you come back to it. You do all the different difficulty levels, and it's kind of like a score attack kind of thing. So it's it's very good. It's very well done.
It's an arcade game, isn't it?
It is. It's an arcade game, exactly that, and it's like a simple, shoot 'em up kind of rail shooter, basically. But yeah, the difference between the visuals, obviously, from an early Saturn game to a Switch game is huge, and obviously they've remodeled everything as a completely from the ground up remake. So it's a lovely game.
Have they got the kind of thing that you see with a lot of sort of remastered games now that I really like, where you can switch between the classic and the modern graphics?
They don't. No.
Aww.
No, it's a shame because it's obviously has a different engine.
Yeah,
I think it would be quite difficult
true.
to do it.
Yeah.
They might have the original there as an unlockable. I'm not sure. I haven't unlocked it if they have. But So that's recommended. Yeah, I've got a couple of other things, but that'll probably segue us into the news actually. So let's do yours first. What have you been playing then?
Crash Bandicoot 4.
Yeah, I saw this on Twitter.
Oh, it's infuriating.
It's really hard, is it?
Oh, it's really hard. It's unreasonably hard.
At what point does it get unreasonably hard? Do you get like a fair
Second level?
Second level? Oh my god, yeah. I'm glad I haven't bought this then, because it's going for like £50 or something, isn't it? Which is a very high price for a
it's ridiculous.
platformer.
I didn't, because I was prepared to pay. I in my mind I thought, I want a game this month.
Yeah.
I'm going to treat myself to, a standard full price game, which I expected to be around £40. It's £60.
60. That's.
So I thought I'm not paying £60 for a game. So a really good shop to follow. Only for UK people. I don't know if you're abroad. Shipping and stuff would probably make eradicate the value. But Boomerang Rentals on eBay. Basically, they're like a rental shop. You can sign up for a package, and you can rent a number of games a month. When the games get returned, they just sell them on eBay.
Oh right, okay,
and you can get some really good deals on there sometimes. So I bought Crash Bandicoot 4, and I got it for, I think it was $39.99, which is what I would expect to be a normal game.
Yes, that's much more reasonable, yeah.
But everything I've ever bought from them has been mint condition. You can't tell it's any different from a normal release. So
that's worth checking out then.
Yeah, check them out on their little eBay store, Boomerang Rentals. Highly recommended. But yeah, so Crash Bandicoot 4, it's really good. It's fun. It's classic collect 'em up platformer, really, in the sort of Crash Bandicoot corridor style. But it's just infuriating. It really is. It just does your head in. Are you familiar with sort of the Crash Bandicoot games in general?
Yeah, I've played the second one a little bit on emulation, and I got the trilogy when it came out, or not long after. So I've played, at least the first few levels of all of those, and they definitely get tough very quickly as well.
They do.
But it's a shame. It's kind of a shame that this is stuck to those guns and not, because most games that are, when you get a new version, like a modern version of a series that is traditionally very difficult, these days they often have like an easy mode or a way to turn down the difficulty, because that's just the way games are these days. They have to be accessible.
Yeah.
This clearly hasn't done that.
No. When you start the game, you get an option for whether you want to play modern or retro mode.
Oh, right.
Basically, modern mode is you get infinite lives.
Right.
But you get a death counter.
Okay.
So every time you lose a life, your death counter goes up one. And one of the targets for, because in Crash Bandicoot you want to collect, there's gems and crystals and things that you want to collect. And one of the criteria for collecting a gem at the end of the level is to lose no more than 3 lives.
Right.
So you can have the death counter, you can have the modern mode, so you've got infinite lives, so you can die multiple times. But, if you go over the 3, then you're not going to get the crystal for that level.
Yeah.
Or you can play retro mode, where when you lose your lives, you're kicked right back to the beginning of the level. So,
right. Yeah.
That would be a very, very difficult way to play the game, I think. In terms of the platforming, if you don't care about collecting the gems and you don't care about any of the collectibles, you just want to, run through the levels and do it that way, it's probably not that difficult. But if you're trying to collect the gems and play the game as it's intended to be played, it just does your head in. Like, there's nothing. I'm not the first person to say this. It's not a amazing piece of insight, but there's nothing more frustrating than going through the level and finding out that you've missed one crate.
Yeah.
Just one. And you just... and it doesn't give you any indication where.
I was going to ask, yeah. Does it... Yeah, obviously doesn't have like a meter, where you can sort of roughly figure out, you can miss... it tells you you've missed one as soon as you passed it, But
No.
No.
No. It's... getting angry thinking about it.
You're going to want vengeance in a minute, like me.
And there's other. So you get gems for collecting 20, 40, and 60% of the Wumpa fruit in a level, I believe. Which basically, if you play the level through reasonably well, you'll get those gems, no matter what.
Yeah.
You get another gem for completing it with under 3 lives. You get another gem for collecting all the crates. But then other levels there's like 4 coloured gems, which will unlock different routes in certain levels, and there's different criteria to get them. One of them is you have to go through the whole level without hitting a single crate. Honestly.
So,
90 attempts, I think it took.
90?
90.
Oh my god, I don't think I've ever tried anything 90 times.
Honestly, it was like going through the stages of grief, I swear.
Well, I admire your patience anyway. So presumably you're trying to go through and fully complete each stage at a time rather than go through and then come back and do that stuff?
For the most part, yeah. Some of them you have to. It's like frustratingly, some of the levels you can't do unless you've got the coloured gems. So there is going to be, there's going to be some stages early on where you're going to have to leave things and then come back to it later.
Right.
But I'm trying to get at least the main gems, because then there's also ones for there's an inverted mode. Where it's the same level, but all the colour palette is shifted and things are mixed around a bit, things are muddled up. It's, so all the gems and stuff. There's a hidden gem on each stage as well, and that moves to a different place and things like that. So I think in total there's like 12 gems, standard gems for each stage. I'm just trying to get the 6 normal ones for each stage. None of the extras, none of the time trial ones, none of the the fancy ones. I just want the basic ones for each stage. That's what I'm trying to do.
Right. Okay.
And I think I'm in the last third of the game now.
Okay.
But the platforming bits, that was it. I've not played it for a couple of days. I've taken a couple of days off from it. The stage I was on is you've got a little jet ski thing, and you've got to travel down straightforward down this route. There's whirlpools that you've got to avoid, and mines that you've got to avoid, and you've got to hit every box. It's just impossible. You need Jedi reflexes to do it.
Yeah.
But that said, I would recommend it. It is a really good game.
I'll probably pick it up when it just generally comes down in price by quite a bit.
I was going to say, when it's reasonably priced.
When it's reasonably priced, around the 20 quid mark or something, probably. Because I was definitely intrigued by when the first trailer came out. I thought that's my kind of thing. So I was just concerned about the difficulty, because they are traditionally quite difficult games.
They are very difficult. I would liken it to Sonic Mania in the fact that it's one of those games that it really does feel like a natural progression.
Yeah.
Of what you would expect a sequel to be. If you'd been waiting a long time, you've seen the game go off in all these different directions and different studios have a crack at it. And finally, this is like the sequel that you would have wanted way back when.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So if you've liked any of the original 3 Crash Bandicoot games, if you liked any of those, you'll love this. There's no doubt about it. So I would give it a recommendation on that.
Cool, brilliant.
I've also been playing. Only very shortly, I've only just started it. Front Mission on the Super Nintendo.
Oh yeah, okay, interesting. What prompted you to?
I don't know. I think I was watching I must have been watching the YouTube video. Oh, that was it. Yes. I picked up ages ago from Boomerang Rentals, no less. Left Alive. It was meant to be like a big AAA type game. It had all artwork done by Yoji Shinkawa, who did all the Metal Gear Solid artwork.
Okay.
I never played it. It got really bad reviews at the time. It turned out to be a bit of a letdown by all accounts. So it just sat on the shelf, and for a rainy day when I've got nothing else to play.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what prompted me to look it up. But it turns out it's a sequel in the Front Mission series.
Okay.
And I thought, giant robots, that's all right.
Yeah.
So I thought, wow, I've got this thing where if there's a series of games, I prefer to play them in sequence if I can.
Yeah, it's always an issue when you've got a long running series and you want to go in somewhere and you feel like, well, where should I start? Yeah.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
I mean, there's exceptions. Like, with Final Fantasy, they're all
you can go
for
anywhere,
the most part. They're not connected, so you can dip in anywhere.
Yeah.
But with Front Mission, it's a sort of a continuing mythos across the whole game.
That's the thing. Yeah.
So I thought I'll just try it. It turns out there was never an official English translation on the Super Nintendo.
No,
I think there's a DS version.
Yeah.
But I ended up just getting a translation patch downloaded.
Sure, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
It seems all right so far. I think it's something I could probably get into.
Yeah, I've never actually played it. I've been collating kind of SNES ROMs lately from a thing, and I've seen it in there, and it looks like an interesting kind of. It's like a platformer shooter kind of thing?
There's a platformer shooter type version of it called Gun Hazard, I think. But the main one is like a strategy RPG. So you move in like a grid section across the board, and then
I see. Right. Okay. Yeah.
You sort of battle and stuff, but you can customize your robots quite significantly. You can change their appearance and the left arm weapon, right arm weapon, and shoulder weapons, and give them different legs. If you don't like the legs, give them a new leg.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite good. I would say that the translation. I don't like criticizing translation patches because
they're a lot of hard
by
work.
Default,
I think.
Yeah, they do. I can't speak a word of Japanese, so they're already doing a better job than I could ever do.
Of course.
But there are a couple of bits that just sound a little bit unnatural. Like in the very first scene, someone gets blown up, and their scream of anguish is Kia. Kyaaaaa.
Kya. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, it's not natural, is it?
No, I'd have just gone with ooh.
Yeah.
Or something like that, But that's nitpicking. But yeah, it's something I think I could get into. I just started it, like I said. I'm probably only like an hour into it, so I'll see how it goes. But yeah, it's got robots in it, so I'll probably like it.
It's funny. There's so many retro games that I see all the time, and I think I must play that one day. And just the list just piles up and up and up and up and up. And I think maybe it wasn't that one, but it was what you said, the gun hazard. Did you say
Gun
the
Hazard,
other one?
yeah.
That's on the list somewhere, and so many other things. And it's just, and often I'll see them there in my list of ROMs and stuff, and I think, oh, I should play that. I should play that now, and I think, no, I'll just play something I know, just for half an hour.
Yeah, I'm going to be shouting out a lot of YouTube channels today.
Okay, that's all right.
Yeah, I saw Gun Hazard. I think I saw it on SNES Drunk. If you ever watched the SNES Drunk channel, I think Gun Hazard was on there, and that might have been what brought it to my attention initially. And then when I saw Left Alive was a part of that series, all the pieces sort of meshed, and I thought, okay,
Which company makes all these games?
Square.
Oh, Square. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I don't know if I think it's one of those series where I think Left Alive has probably not done it any favours. I think it's sort of stagnating at the moment now.
Yeah.
But it seems to have quite a loyal fan base for it. So
okay.
It may be a game to cover in the future, maybe.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah.
But funny you said that when you were saying there's games you hear a lot about, and you there's another channel, Sam Webster.
Okay.
He does lots of game reviews. Very cool channel. He did a retrospective on the Dead Rising series. It's really made me want to play Dead Rising.
Yeah, I've got the first one on 360. Never played it. I think I played
to get into it a couple of times, and I just couldn't.
Yeah, I remember playing the demo a long time ago when it first came out, which was 15 years, nearly 15 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
I remember something about it. It's kind of like a sort of semi-comedic zombie thing. Is that the game I'm thinking of?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can it's something about trolleys and stuff, isn't it? You can throw a trolley at them and things like that. Push them in a trolley. Something about trolleys. That's all I remember.
There are trolleys in it. Yeah. Basically, you're in a shopping mall.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, basically almost anything around you can use as a weapon. And you can run over them with a lawnmower and hit them with trolleys, and you can go into any of the clothes shops, and put on funny clothes, knock about with a horse's head on, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's another one of those 360, because the 360, like the PS2, is a console where everything's so dirt cheap. You just amass these piles and piles of games these days, and it's just in them. And again, it's a pile of games that I'm going to get to at some point. And it's just in there somewhere, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I've tried it a couple of times and it just never clicked with me.
Okay.
But watching this video is just... You ever see someone who obviously likes a game and their sort of enthusiasm for it is a bit infectious?
Yeah,
and you think,
yeah.
Oh, actually, maybe I missed something the first time. If I give it a go, maybe it'll click with me this time. So, maybe next show, when you ask me what I've been playing, I'll be singing the praises of Dead Rising.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah, yes. I'd like to hear more about it, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's all I've been. Crash Bandicoot's taken up a lot of my time.
Yeah, sounds it. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Right. News.
Let's get to the news.
News. So the news. What's the news?
Sonic 1.
Sonic 1. Yeah, Sonic 1 prototype.
Oh, what a beauty!
Yeah, I mean it's the little UFO one.
The UFO one, the one that we thought would never be found.
Yeah, it's amazing how they find these things, isn't it?
It's incredible.
I'm baffled by how someone just comes out of the woodwork one day. Oh yeah, I got that. How have you got that? It's nuts, isn't it?
Yeah, apparently it came from someone who worked for an unnamed person working for an unnamed UK gaming magazine at the time. Apparently.
Oh right.
I seem to recall here.
Unnamed Monthly. Yeah, I remember it. Yeah. But
I mean, gameplay-wise, it's probably slightly underwhelming because it's very unfinished.
It is and it isn't. I mean, if you play through Green Hill Zone, most of it is kind of the same, isn't it?
Green Hill Zone is mostly the same.
You can see that they're working their way through it, and they think, right, we've done Green Hill, we've done most of Marble, Spring Yard doesn't quite look right, and then Labyrinth doesn't have anything in it. I think Starlight almost seems to have been done as like a sort of a sample level, because it's all completely different, isn't it? Kind of stuff thrown in. And I think Scrap Brain isn't very finished either, was it? But yeah, it's fascinating to see, isn't it?
It really is, yeah.
Lots of little things, like the ball early on in Green Hill.
Yeah.
Famous things that people thought was like a thing that rolled down and chased you. Is actually just a really weird thing where you sort of stand on it and it's got weird physics and you don't really know what it's for.
Apparently you can push it down the pipes as well.
Can you? Oh, I didn't try that. Yeah.
I haven't tried that yet, but I remember hearing something that you can push it down a pipe, and people were wondering whether that was going to be like a mechanic where you could push it down and sort of launch it into the air and stuff. But
yeah, you can definitely see why they took it out, because it totally breaks the flow of the game completely. Doesn't it?
Does.
It's very odd.
It's very janky. It doesn't. It doesn't work very well like it fits at all.
It's a wonder why they just chucked it in there, really, isn't it? Like, I mean, do we know what this build was? Was it used to? I guess it was used to send to a magazine or something, like a preview build, was it?
I was going to say, if the talk of it coming from a magazine writer is correct, I would say it's probably an early preview. It's certainly not as there's certainly earlier versions of it out there, because there's the famous screenshot of Sonic stood by a kind of signpost.
Yeah.
And even Yuji Naka has said that he doesn't know if that exists in any playable form anymore. But there's definitely versions of it that exist before this. But this is, it's pretty early.
Yeah, I think so.
It's pretty early.
Yeah.
I wondered. It made me think, going back to the old Zone Zero days.
Yeah.
They seem to be going for Spring Yard Zone. In this one is called Sparkling Zone.
Yeah.
And it's all sort of very built up. And then Starlight Zone has got this, Starlight Zone in the final game had it, but in this one it's a lot more clear that it's meant to be kind of like an under construction area.
Yeah.
And I wondered if that, they were going for like the levels to have a more connected feel, like you were going from the centre, the sort of the bustling centre of Mobius or South Island in Sparkling Zone, and then you were moving out to moving out into the sticks a bit where there's still construction, and then onto Scrap Brain Zone, and whether they intended to be a bit more connected and a bit more flowing than it felt in the
quite possibly
the original game.
I mean, I think I can't remember the exact order, but I think Labyrinth Zone was supposed to be the second level originally, if I remember rightly. So if you took that out, then that would literally be what you've just described, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe.
Yeah, sort of working your way from Sonic's area through some old ruins into the city, and then out towards Robotnik's base on the outskirts, kind of thing. I don't know. I just I just find the change in sort of the environments, especially Sparkling Zone, I thought was it is fascinating to see.
Yes, it's very.
I can see why they changed it. Mind, it's a bit overwhelming.
It's a bit dazzling, isn't it? Yeah. I didn't really like it. Yeah, I liked, although it wasn't like fully finished. I liked the different background for the Labyrinth Zone, sort of the the more
I love
cavernous
that background.
thing. I wish they'd carried on with that, but it's much more interesting than just a solid wall.
Yeah.
You could see little bits, cracks of light coming through and like into the distance, and there's this whole huge cavernous thing. I think that'd be much better, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and in like the second act or something, it's like you still see it, but it's further up, and the rest is like all black below it.
Okay.
And I love that as well. It kind of like you're going deeper and deeper into the labyrinth. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I wonder if there was going to be other backgrounds, as it changed as you went further into the labyrinth and stuff. And I wonder if they just had these ideas that just didn't pan out with the technology or the time or budget or whatever. It's just really interesting to see this game that we're so familiar with, and just see little snippets of how it came to be. I love it.
Oh, it's brilliant. Yeah, it's really good. It's I mean, people had a field day when that came out, didn't they? It was all over. Yeah,
I genuinely didn't expect that to be found for for a long time.
No. I mean, it's the same one that's at the beginning of Wayne's World, isn't it? That had the UFOs in the sky, possibly even the same build. I mean, who knows?
I think it probably is the same build. Yeah. I mean, it would have been around the same sort of time, I think.
Yeah.
And there was that VHS that someone put on YouTube of an old promotional VHS that showed some of this build. Well, I presume it's this build as well, because it's got the Sonic jumping animation at the end as well.
Oh, that's weird, that, isn't it? When you jump,
it is weird, isn't it?
If you haven't played it, you at the end when you pass the signpost. I can't remember in Sonic 1 if he just carries on normally, doesn't he? You don't get to hang around.
No.
I can't remember.
I think he just carries on. Yeah.
But in this one, you do. You you just sort of walk back and forth, and you can do what you want while the score's being tallied up and everything. And if you jump, instead of being in a curl ball, he just this static sprite of him like reaching up, and it just looks really weird, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's like punching the air with, a victorious punch of the air, like an 80s feel-good rom-com type film at the end. But I love it. I'm really glad it's been found. I think it's just really important that things like that are preserved, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, of course, the other big Sonic 1/Sonic 2 thing the other day was someone decompiled the Christian Whitehead versions.
Yes.
And put them on PC. Superb. And Switch, actually. I think you can get a Switch one there if you've got a Switch.
Yeah, Switch and Vita, I think.
Yeah. And that's amazing, because Sega have just point-blank refused to do this themselves.
I know.
For some reason. They don't like money, obviously. So, yeah, some very clever person, God knows how, I couldn't get my head around it, but they've managed to, decompile it, and it doesn't have all the menus. It's not quite finished yet, but it is, all the actual gameplay is mostly playable apart from a few small bugs, but it doesn't have like the menus that they've added, to do time attack and things like that. So there's like a temporary one there at the moment where you choose what mode you want and level select and things like that.
Well, I think, don't quote me on this because I might be wrong, but there's a ROM hack that's just come out recently. The Sonic community cart.
Oh, right.
And it's kind of like a Sonic 3 Angel Island Revisited, but for Sonic 2.
Oh, okay. I didn't see this at all.
Yeah. And the developer of that has basically said he's dropping work on that and moving on to working on the source decompilations now, because it's you could do so much more with them.
Yes, I'm sure. Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. People are really looking into this already quite deeply. Really skilled people. Yeah. So I think I'm really excited to see what comes of it now.
Oh, I mean, it's brilliant. I mean, these things should have been released to PC. If you have no idea what we're talking about, basically, Christian Whitehead, who's a fan, went on to make Sonic Mania along with a lot of other people. Him and Simon Tomley, I think it was. They ported Sonic CD at first, and then Sonic 1 and 2 all to like mobile platforms. Sonic CD there's a PC version of that, but they never made PC versions or console versions of Sonic 1 and 2. And basically, these are completely rebuilt from the ground up, using a modern engine, widescreen, everything, all sorts of extra stuff thrown in. And yeah, this is the first time they've been on PC.
Yeah, my main hope is now, if they've been fully decompiled and people can start poking through the source code and things like that, some enterprising developer out there will finally give us Sonic 3 and Knuckles in the retro engine.
In the retro engine, yeah. I wonder if that's possible.
Oh, it's got to be, Anna.
That would be really cool. Yeah.
I would love it. That is it's the one thing people have been asking Sega for so long.
I know.
Just do it. Just do it, Sega.
Yeah.
He even knocked up a prototype himself, didn't he?
He did, yeah. He started doing it, yeah. And he said, look, you can have this, and people will give you money for it. But
yeah.
No.
They'd rather sell scented candles.
They would.
It bugs me. Sega tweeted about it, so that they'll tease something like, something big's coming, something's big coming. Oh, what is it? Oh, it's some scented candles and a bookmark. Brilliant. Fantastic. Great. Well done, Sega.
Yeah. Are you still doing games, by the way? I mean, you haven't really done hardly any recently. No, we just moved into scented candles. Have you not heard? That's what we do now.
That's what we do now.
Yeah.
That's all we do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I love it. I love this. Seems to be a thing that's coming up. That seems to be increasing in popularity as well. People decompiling old games back to the source code. It recently happened with Super Mario 64.
Yes, that's right. Yes, didn't it?
That's been fully decompiled. You can just download the source code. You need to get a ROM to extract all the assets from. But you can basically compile it for whatever system you want, any operating system, any platform that you can develop for.
That's crazy.
You can port to anything. It's amazing.
That's really cool.
I'd love to see that happen to more games. I know it's a difficult process. I know it's not just a case of clicking a button and it's decompiled. But it's just superb. It gives so much flexibility for not only preservation, but people giving these new games, new features, quality of life improvements, and all kinds of things that the official developers don't have a a motivation to do.
That's right. Yeah.
Just let the community do it. I think it's fantastic. What else has been in the news?
Don't know. That's all I've got. What have you got?
All the news that counts. Cyberpunk. I got to be honest. I wasn't really that interested in Cyberpunk
me neither.
to begin with.
Me neither.
I just couldn't get on the hype train with it. I didn't really. I was like, it looks alright. I suppose it looks quite good, but I can't say I'm that interested in it. So.
Nah, I was never that bothered.
I think that's it. I think that Nintendo have been being Nintendo and shutting down things, haven't they?
What have they shut down this time?
The Game & Watch homebrew stuff. People found a way. Did we talk about this?
No.
The Game & Watch.
Yeah.
People found a way to run homebrew on it.
Which isn't surprising. That's pretty much what I said would happen anyway, didn't it? When we were talking about it, yeah.
And I think they were managing to get emulators and ROMs and all sorts. That's been ban-hammered by Nintendo now.
Well, I'm not surprised of. But
I know, but come on.
Yeah, people just tend to work around these things anyway, don't they?
They do, yeah, they do. Things, it will obviously continue because the cat's out of the bag now.
Oh, of course, yeah.
It just makes it more difficult because if they had like a GitHub with all the source code and stuff on it, that's obviously have to be taken down, and it drives it all underground and makes it more. Well,
the thing is, realistically, what harm is that doing to them? It's just a one-off console thing.
Yeah.
It's not like their new Switch, is it? Where they're going to add loads of games and stuff to it, and they want it to, be kept pure and not hackable and things like that.
Exactly.
It's just a little, gift that, like a Christmas kind of, stocking filler kind of thing. People should be. Yeah,
look, if we're being perfectly honest, they're expecting half of the people to never open things.
Yeah.
They're expected to sit on a shelf and never be used. And
then
be scalped in 10 years' time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I love Nintendo, but I don't love their attitude to community projects. But that's enough negativity. Let's look at something positive.
Yes, I've got a positive incoming indie.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
Incoming indie.
Yes, this incoming indie, which we never say what the incoming indie feature is. Basically, it's an indie game that's incoming. There we go, done it. This game is called Hoa, Hoa, which I assume is how you pronounce it. It's Studio Ghibli the game, basically. It's a very beautiful 2D hand-painted puzzle platformer kind of thing. Plays a little character in a pointy red cloak. Sort of very natural leafy environments, gentle gameplay, not much combat, just sort of exploration kind of things. Coming to Steam and Switch in April.
I'm trying to find it, but all I can find is Homeowners Association and a bunch of flowers.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. No. HOA the game. It's HOA the game on Twitter.
HOA the game. And it's on Kickstarter, is it? Or
no, it's nearing completion. It's coming in April.
Oh, okay. HOA the game. Beautiful indie platform game.
That's the one.
Oh, it is as well. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, that is very Studio Ghibli. Wow.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's really, really nicely done. Really good.
Oh, yes. Yes, I like this. Yes, this looks good. It gets my seal of approval.
Yeah.
Nintendo eShop. Yes, please.
Yeah, so that's all I've got to say about it, really. To be fair, they haven't released much gameplay of it. The trailer you're probably looking at is kind of all there is I could find on it, really, but it's kind of enough. I think I first saw it in Wireframe magazine a little while ago, but it's just, I'm looking forward to it. It looks very interesting.
He's like a little red, like a slug or something. I don't know what he is.
Yeah, I don't know what he is.
A hat.
Yeah, it's
a hat with a face.
Kind of, yeah.
It looks like one of the tentacles from Day of the Tentacle.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. And he's on a rock hand with a butterfly. I like it. I like it. It's good.
Yep.
There's like a little snail. He's got a leaf for a hat. Oh, I love this.
Yeah, I thought you'd like it. It's good.
Yeah, it's great. Coming April 2021. No price though.
No price. No.
No
but
price.
I'm sure it'll be, nicely priced.
It's going to be cheaper than Crash 4.
I would have thought so. Yeah, I hope so. Anyway, yeah.
Oh, I like this. Yeah, that looks really good.
Yeah.
Good.
Good. It's at Hoa the Game on Twitter. If you want to look them up and follow them.
And hoathegame.com.
That's right. Yep. Right. So, unless there's something else you want to discuss, we've got an Amiga game to talk about this month.
Yeah, we do.
Let's do that after this spray.
Yes.
Slick.
The Video Game Book Club.
Okay, welcome back. We're going to talk about Walker for the Amiga.
Mm-hmm.
And when I picked it, I remember it being better, not better.
Go on.
More,
yeah.
more than what it was. Now, I haven't played it. I will say I haven't played it since probably the last time I played it was genuinely 1997 or 8, so
Okay.
it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And it's not a bad game.
It's not a
at
bad
all.
game, no.
But in terms of a game to pick for the purposes of a book club, where we analyse and discuss it, and its various themes, storyline, things like that, probably wasn't the best choice.
I gotta say, I did wonder. Yeah, I did. Because when I started playing it, I thought, oh yeah, that's quite interesting. Just sort of had a cursory glance on YouTube, saw the sort of the length of time it takes to complete the game, which is about an hour or so.
If you're good at it.
If you're good at it, yeah. If you're good at, yeah. To be fair, if you are good at it, yeah. That's not, yeah. But gameplay kind of pretty much the same as it starts off with, really, isn't it?
It kind of is.
It doesn't vary very much.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
But I would say it's in the same sense of Panzer Dragoon.
Yeah, sure.
It's an arcade game.
Oh yeah, it is.
It doesn't pretend to be anything other than just have fun shooting guys with a cute little robot.
And it does it very well. Yeah.
So, would you recommend it?
Oh, amazing.
No, I mean there is a lot. There's stuff to say about it. I mean,
yeah.
Well, we'll say generally, this is for being the first Amiga game that we've covered.
Sure.
How did you find the world of Amiga emulation?
Well, I couldn't work it out, to be honest, at all. So what I did was, there's a website whose name I forget, where it packages up loads of Amiga games for you, just as executables. So I just ended up doing that in the end.
Oh, okay.
And that was much easier. And I think you could even hack it, like give yourself infinite lives and stuff like that. You know. So that's how I did it. But I did sort of struggle. I couldn't quite work it out. It's a bit complicated, isn't it?
It is a bit complicated compared to normal, just file open, ROM done.
Did you emulate this as well? Did you play on an original?
I've got it on the original, but I did play it emulated.
Yeah. Okay.
Because my Amiga 500, I don't have room to have it set up as like a go-to machine, so it's
understandable.
All boxed up as on the top of a wardrobe at the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I had really fond memories of playing it when I was a kid. I just found graphically, I thought it was amazing at the time.
Yeah, it does look impressive. I mean, I kind of vaguely know what Amiga games look like. I'm not, I couldn't say for sure if it was particularly impressive for the platform or not. But it did. It looked comparable to games. I mean, this was released we haven't really said any details about it really. This came out in '93. So compared to sort of certainly Mega Drive games of that era, it certainly looks the business,
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, there are some superb looking Amiga games. I mean,
Yeah, sure.
There really are. It was a machine way ahead of its time, I think, in terms of hardware, and it certainly looks better than anything the consoles were doing at the time.
yeah.
So yeah, I think it was a real looker compared to its contemporary games, and the fluidity of the animation I found was fantastic as well. It's basically a side-scrolling shoot 'em up. You go along, you shoot guys, you go along, you shoot guys.
Well, I would describe it as a run and gun, if not for the fact that you're not really doing much running. It's walk and gun. It's probably better.
Walking gun, yeah, plodding gun.
Yeah, you're a big sort of mech, aren't you?
Yeah.
And one of the most interesting things about it, actually, and I can't really think of another game that does this, is it goes from right to left instead of left to right.
Yeah.
Which is quite interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite interesting. Yeah, there aren't many games that do that. Maybe Fantasy Zone, you can go from right to left. But
it's weird because as odd, as unusual as that is, it didn't strike me as unusual until I was playing it for quite a fair few minutes, and I sort of suddenly realised, hang on, we're going the wrong way here.
Yeah, going the wrong way.
Because it doesn't really seem unnatural, does it? It seems...
No, it doesn't.
It kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah. And yeah, so that's basically it. You shoot little guys. There's some like tanks and helicopters and horses.
Well, you've got I think this might be the first game we covered that you actually uses the mouse at all.
Yeah.
Because you aim your targeting reticule is the word, isn't it?
Reticle.
It's a word that I've seen written, but I've never heard anyone say. I think
Pointer.
Your little thing that you move around. You basically aim at the soldiers, and things like that. So it's good. It doesn't go behind you. You cannot shoot behind you though. So you can move along the screen. It's kind of like if you think of Streets of Rage, where you're moving along and then suddenly you're in a block of enemies and you're stuck on that screen then. So you can move left and right along the screen, but you can only move your mouse around just in front of the mech, so to the left of the mech. You can't move it to the right of the mech.
Yeah.
So if you need to move all the way to the right in order to fire at everything on the screen. Which makes sense, I suppose, because it wouldn't turn completely backwards, would it? And I thought that the movement of the head of the mech was quite interesting because it's like a pre-rendered 3D model. And it kind of, even though your cursor is moving in 2D space, it somehow translates that into almost like a 3D space.
Yeah.
So that it can...
Really impressive.
It is impressive, actually. So say there's enemies coming... they're all kind of the same size, so they don't really scale in the background. But you kind of imagine they're sort of just behind the action, and it kind of... The head kind of points away from us in a corresponding way, if you know what I mean. Whereas if you aim it at the ground, it kind of looks straight down from a straight side thing. So it's interesting how they sort of translated those 2D coordinates into 3D at that time,
Yeah, I remember being amazed. I obviously didn't sort of think of it in an analytical way like that, but I remember just being really impressed by just how his little head moves about at the time. That's how my childhood mind thought of it. It's like, look at his head. Yeah, it's great, and I love the art style of it. The fact that it's not just your typical robot in a sci-fi setting or robot in a post-apocalypse setting. There's different time periods that you go through. So you're sort of fighting World War II sort of Berlin enemies.
Yeah, the Nazis. Yeah, you start with fighting them.
Yeah,
and then it moves to 2019 Los Angeles.
Yeah,
which is quite interesting.
It's just really, I don't know. I'm going back to what I thought at the time, but I just found it really interesting that you were being this giant robot fighting little guys dragging cannons by horseback and things like that.
There's a lovely juxtaposition about that, isn't there? Actually,
yeah.
Yes.
But you're not sort of overpowered at all. It's a very difficult game. Either it's very difficult, or I've become very bad at it in the intervening years.
Well, there's an easy mode and an arcade mode. Now, I don't quite know what the difference is, but you'll lose lives a lot quicker in arcade mode. I don't know if it's because you've got less health, or they're more powerful, or there's more of them. I don't know, but in arcade mode, I could barely last beyond the first sort of sub-stage.
Yeah.
I just couldn't do it. But in easy mode, which apparently limits you just to the first 2 levels, there's 4 time periods, each with 2 sort of sub-stages. And I think apparently easy mode limits you just to the first 2 of those.
I can only imagine that's what I must have played when I was younger. Then
probably. I mean, that to be fair, that's what I went. That's mainly what I played on this time, and I could get right to the end of the final boss of the second one, but I couldn't beat it. I tried it 2 or 3 times. I couldn't get the better of it in the end. No. But up until then, it's doable. It's in easy mode, it's manageable. But the arcade mode is pretty difficult. I don't really know how you're supposed to do it, to be honest.
And it's quite annoying as well. One of the quote-unquote features of the game is that your gun will overheat if you fire it too much.
Yes, yeah.
Which it's just infuriating, because I end up just trying to keep tapping the mouse button, the fire button, just trying to sort of keep it firing without overheating it, and
you almost get in the zone and you're not even looking at your meter. It's just like, why aren't they dying? And it's you realise you just got to cool it down. It only takes like a second or 2 to cool down before you can fire again, but it's just it is annoying.
When they get some of the tank enemies against you, like 2 shells and that's half your shield gone.
Oh yeah, I know,
yeah. But yeah, I gotta say, I did enjoy playing it again.
For what it is, it's a little entertaining game. I don't think anyone would really, these days anyway, spend much time on it, because it's a quick little arcade, quick fix kind of game. It's just something to play for half an hour or so.
One thing I found strange, though, because like I say, coming into this show, I was concerned about how much we'd have to say about it. But then when I think, like other games we've covered, like Sunset Riders, there's really not that much in that game either. When you think about it, when you strip it down to the basics, I don't know what it is about this game that made me feel like we're going to struggle to talk about this.
I think it's because obviously Sunset Riders was our first game, and we didn't know how this was going to pan out.
Yeah,
this game goes against a lot of the other games we've done recently. We tend to pick games that aren't epics, like 40-hour epics, but they have interesting concepts that we can discuss and compare to other things. And I mean, when I think about games to play on the book club, it's not necessarily games that I really want to play, because sometimes there'll be a really arcadey sort of game that I want to play, and I thought, well, maybe I can take that. I thought, do we have enough to talk about it? But so I see why you thought that, because it goes against the grain of a lot of other games that we've played recently.
Yeah.
But
I think it does. Yeah, I think maybe it was the nostalgia bug that made me pick it more than anything. I think I just wanted to. I think I wanted to try something on a system that we haven't covered before.
Yeah.
Because I think we've tended to settle on Nintendo, Mega Drive,
PlayStation.
Yeah. And we haven't really gone. We've done the occasional GameCube, but we haven't really gone much out of our safe zone. So I wanted to pick something completely on a completely different system.
Yeah, I'm glad you did, because as I said last time, I've never played an Amiga game before. It's my first ever Amiga game, so it was an interesting experience.
I don't think this was probably the best choice, though.
No, sure, but
there's another game that I had 2 games in mind, and I think I should have gone with the other one.
Okay.
I think there would have been a lot more to talk about with the other one.
All right. Well, save that for another time.
I will save that for another time.
But I mean, there's still stuff to talk about, I think, on this. We haven't discussed its developer, which is DMA Design.
Yes, famous for Lemmings and
Grand Theft Auto. It is Grand Theft Auto, isn't it?
Yeah, I've not heard of that.
No, I see. Yeah, it's a little known game.
I was doing a bit.
Oh, you were doing a bit. Sorry about that.
I was doing a bit. Sorry. No, it's
trample on that. Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's amazing when you see. I mean, I don't know how many people currently working for Rockstar North worked for DMA back in this era. It might be one of those things where it's the same company in name alone and nothing else. I don't know. But it is amazing to see, how a developer making games like these has gone on strength to strength to make something as huge as Grand Theft Auto.
Yes, it's always interesting to see these big companies, what the much smaller games were in their sort of origin and how they built up into something massive today.
Yeah.
And it's certainly not one you hear talked about often. I mean, I'd never even heard of this game before you mentioned it last episode.
No, I think that's what made me pick it. I just, it's a game that I think it deserves more attention. I think more people would probably get a kick out of playing it. Maybe not for a long time. It might be something that people just pick up and play for half an hour and then never touch again. But I think it is. I think it's a game that's worthy of a spotlight being shone on it. Because not many people have heard of it.
No.
And I enjoyed it, and apparently Amiga Power ranked it among their top 100 games of 1993.
I saw that, yeah. So they must have thought highly of it as well at the time.
Yeah.
Published by Psygnosis as well, which obviously went on to big things as well.
Yeah, until Sony bought them and shut them down.
Yeah, that's true.
That's happened to Vicarious Visions now as well.
Yeah.
They're now, aren't they?
Yeah, I saw you tweet that earlier, yeah.
Yeah, a bit of a stinker. Good luck to them. Yeah, so... There was going to be a sequel as well, apparently, but
yeah, a Mega Drive. There's a Mega Drive port going to be,
a Mega Drive port
and
on
a
the
3DO sequel, both of which got cancelled.
I don't know if that might have been a blessing in disguise. To be honest, I don't know if it would have gone anywhere on the 3DO.
No, probably not. No,
probably not. I'd like a 3DO though, oddly, but
yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? It's an interesting concept like this.
It's an interesting little console, yeah.
I remember it at the time, reading about it, and this sort of £600 mega console.
I was going to say, wasn't it like £600 or £700 or something daft?
I mean, and to me, at that time, I was wondering how I could ever get like a Mega CD to go on my Mega Drive.
Yeah.
The idea of paying more than that just for one new console is just
it's crazy.
A tad highly priced, yeah.
Yeah, I mean. Around that time, I think, a decent computer, not top end, but a reasonably beefy PC would cost you about £1,000.
Yeah.
So for £700 for a games console, £600 for a games console, that's a big ask. I don't know, only the richest of the rich would dare dream of such a thing.
Yes, it's interesting, isn't it? I mean, that they would have to aim for people with a lot of disposable income.
Yeah.
And I don't know how true it is, but I feel like at that time, before the PlayStation kicked in, gaming was primarily a kids thing, wasn't it, really?
Oh, it was seen very much as a kids thing.
It's certainly seen that way. I don't know realistically if it was, but certainly you would get a lot more games aimed at kids than you would now as a sort of percentage of target audience. I mean, now
definitely
the Lego games I was talking about earlier, Nintendo, Minecraft, that's kind of it, really, isn't it? Everything else is kind of like you use apps for that, for kids. But back then, it was all about the kids, wasn't it? It was
all very much seen as either a kid's hobby or a very niche nerd hobby.
Yeah.
I think, again, this isn't an incredible piece of insight from me that no one said before, but I think you can directly attribute the popularity of games today and the mainstream acceptance of games today to the PlayStation and games like Ridge Racer and the original Wipeout.
It's been well documented, that they really spoke to an audience that would never really playing games before. Yeah. We're going massively off topic here. We're not even talking about Amiga or the game here, but it's
just one of those things. But I mean, it all relates.
It does relate. It's all the what's it called? The kind of the atmosphere of the time, really, isn't it?
The zeitgeist.
The zeitgeist, the word I'm looking for. I hate that word. I find it very pretentious, but yes,
so do I.
it is. That's exactly what it is. The zeitgeist. So it got speech in it. That's quite interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Dark scumbags.
Well, there's a cold open.
I started that point just so that I could just do that little impression. And picked up some aerial targets. You get those two things, he said, the guy talking to you says constantly throughout the whole game.
Yeah. Well, it's good that it was... Again, I don't want to go too off topic, but I mean, that's one of the things I found, with a few Amiga games, that it did things that I just didn't find on the consoles. I mean, I only had a Mega Drive at the time. I never had an Amiga at home until way later on. My granddad had an Amiga. That's where I played this around my granddad's house. but I never had an Amiga of my own. So when we went round there, it was always like an exciting thing to play on the Amiga and see what the games and stuff were doing. But games like Cannon Fodder had a full vocalized original music track for the intro.
Yeah.
With photographs of the developers superimposed on historical figures coming up on the screen as like the intro and stuff, and things like that, and the voice clips in this. And there was a RoboCop 3 game with some sort of early 3D sort of wireframe sections and things like that. And it's just all these really amazing things that I wasn't seeing on the console at home, and I just found just so exciting. And you do hear those voice clips over and over again, but I was just blown away by it. I was just I love this. This is so good. This is so cool.
Yeah, for its time, it's a good game, and even now, it's a fun little game. Just to sort of spend a little bit of time on. Got no problems with it really, other than the fact that I was just surprised how. About your choice for a book club to talk about, but I mean, I think we've done quite well with it. In fairness,
yeah, I think. You need to put the boot in.
No. I'm only mimicking your own thoughts about it once you start playing it as well.
I know. I'm being silly.
Yeah. The only other thing I wanted to mention is the little train. I like the little train.
Yeah.
In the first level, it comes along. Boop, boop.
Boop, boop.
I mean, it's not a little train; it's a full size train. But your mech is so big, it just looks like a little train, and it's a nice little touch. You're fighting all these enemies, and suddenly this little train comes along in the front. I mean, he's got if you leave it to come along long enough, you'll see it's got some guns and stuff on it. But just a little train. Liked it.
Yeah, I wish it had got a sequel though. Not necessarily on the 3DO for reasons that we stated, but. I think it's got potential to be fleshed out.
Well, I mean, I was going to ask, was there any sort of story context with why it's jumping between time periods?
I've got to be honest, I don't know, because I never had the manual with it. I just had the disc.
Oh, right, okay. If there was one, I couldn't find it on the internet, or at least on the Wikipedia page. But the reason I ask is, if you could flesh, that's quite a good idea, isn't it, to sort of jump... a big mech jumping through time to fight these different wars for some reason. You can see that translating quite well to a 3D game. I could see this easily being like a PS1 kind of era game where you're sort of going, it's fully 3D and you've got behind view and you're shooting these different targets and wandering around and you jump to a different time period, and it'd be really cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would, yeah. I'd love, if you could, whatever time period you're in, say you blew up one of the little cannons that are being dragged along by a horse or whatever.
Yeah.
You could incorporate that technology into your mech, so you could have you could travel through the different time periods, sort of assimilating different technology and doing upgrades to your mech based on so you could have this kind of steampunk style, a futuristic mech with like an ancient sort of chain gun type thing.
Yeah.
Just...
it's a nice idea, yeah.
Yeah,
to customise your mech.
Customise the mech.
With bits from different time periods. Yeah, it's a great idea.
Yeah, flesh it out with a little story to explain how you get in there and why and things like that. And there's bags of potential to do more with it. I think if they had the chance, I reckon it could have been a bigger thing than it was.
I think we should cut out that entire bit that we've just said, keep it to ourselves, get cracking on this game, because I think it's a winner of an idea.
Yes. I just thinking it's actually very similar to that game we were going to make when we were in school. That was a mech walking sideways.
Any means necessary. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it wasn't that. I don't think we had the time periods in, but
no, we didn't have the time periods.
But fundamentally, it was a mech platformer, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it was a mech platformer, and
I think, funnily enough, that sprite that we used was from Front Mission or one of its
it might
successors.
have been, actually.
I realised that when I saw a screenshot. I thought, hang on, that looks familiar. I think I swiped that without knowing where it was from.
I was going to say
20 years ago.
Familiar. Didn't we plagiarise that years ago?
I'm sure it looks very similar. If it wasn't, obviously I just found it on the internet. I didn't have a clue where it's from. I thought, that looks good. I'll nab that. And then, funny you should mention that game earlier. Yeah, that's weird.
That is weird. Yeah, that is weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah, strange. But yeah, so it just goes to show a mech walking sideways is a timeless archetype of a game.
It is. It
You
is.
know.
Got a couple of comments of sorts from Twitter because you this got picked up by the Amiga Massive, didn't it? Your
Yeah.
post about it. It got
the
quite a
Amiga's
few.
still got a massive following today.
Got quite a few likes and retweets and stuff. Got a couple of comments. So in response to your question about what you remember and like from this game, at Rex the Doggy says simply stomping lemmings.
Yes,
So the little guys do look a bit like lemmings.
they do look very
Yeah.
like lemons. Yeah.
And a reply to that comment from at @robx_SWE said that was the game's biggest accomplishment, the beginning of Lemmings.
I was a bit confused by that.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a positive or a negative comment on it. I don't.
It's not that. I mean, I hold my hands up and say, because like I say, I didn't have an Amiga at the time. I only played it around my granddad's house, so
Yeah.
I wasn't, in the scene, as it were. But I thought Lemmings came before this.
Oh, we'd have to check.
I thought Lemmings was out before this.
Well, this came out in February '93.
Well,
so-
Lemmings was 91. So
Well, there you go then.
Lemmings definitely
so
came
that-
out before.
So that person's incorrect anyway.
I
suppose.
don't know. I wouldn't say incorrect. I just don't. I'm not sure I understand. Maybe I've misunderstood what they mean. But
Well, it sounds
know.
like he assumes that Lemmings came after this game, but if Lemmings came out in '91, then he's not right, is he?
well, no, I suppose not. But I still appreciate the comment.
Oh, of course. I don't want to. I
Yeah.
don't want to say don't comment, because
No,
that's.
no.
I
I
don't
mean,
know,
it's probably just us getting it wrong. But
I don't know.
No.
Yeah, if you want to clarify at @robx_SWE, then do feel free. We'll correct you in the next episode. We'll correct ourselves. Sorry, in the next episode. Drop us a line. Right. Anything else you want to say about Walker?
it's good. I like
good.
it.
Yep.
I like the robot. I like his little face.
Could have done with more music. I thought a bit of background music in the levels wouldn't have gone amiss.
That's true.
Mm.
Yeah, that's true. I will say, if anyone's interested in playing it, the Amiga is quite a difficult system to emulate compared to standard emulators. I would pick up, if you are interested, because in order to play the Amiga, you're going to need the Kickstart ROMs, which are basically like the operating system of the console. You can find them online in the usual places, but they're very easy and very cheap to get legally. If you search for Amiga Forever on your Android phone, I don't know if it's on the Apple Store, but certainly on Android, it's like £2 or £3, and you will get all the ROMs, all the Kickstart ROMs legally and licensed that you need to emulate Amiga games.
That's cool.
So it's a really good. If you search for Amiga Forever as well, they do like a full DVD set with everything you need to get up and running with Amiga emulation as well, and it supports the community and stuff. So I would really recommend going down that route if you wanted to start messing about with some Amiga games.
That's very cool. Awesome.
So yeah, I think that's an appropriate place to finish.
Yeah.
What's your game for the next?
Yeah. Well, I hinted
show?
at this earlier. So I've got a very recent game for you this time.
Okay.
So recent, it's actually a next-gen title.
Okay.
Fortunately, we don't. Fortunately, it's also on PS4 and PC.
Oh, good. I was gonna say.
So I don't worry. I wasn't expecting you to go out and buy a PS5 just to play this game.
Good.
It's a standout title, I would say, from the PS5 games reveal video that we talked about a few months back.
Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. The long-awaited Grand Theft Auto 5. No, it's Bugsnax.
I don't know if Bugsnax is on PS4 yet, is it?
Apparently it is.
Are you sure?
I believe so. Have a quick Google. If
Oh,
I'm wrong,
goodness.
we'll do something else. But I'm
I'm going to have to check this, because I can't believe I've been looking forward to Bugsnax,
pretty sure it's there.
and I can't believe I missed that. Ooh,
I've been playing on PC
Bugsnax.
for about an hour or so.
Bugsnax PS4.
Yeah, it just strikes me as a very podemup-y sort of game. very quirky, sort of reminiscent of Pokemon a little bit. Basically, you go to an island that's inhabited by these creatures who have discovered that the local wildlife is edible. And edible in such a way that when you eat a little strawberry bug, their legs or arms turn into little strawberries. To be honest, I don't know why yet, but the main core of the game is to sort of catch these various animals through various kind of means, and give them to the people in order to progress the story. So it's it's kind of a sort of a puzzle game. It's first person, kind of a bit RPG-ish. Maybe a little sort of Pokemon Snap, maybe that kind of thing. It's nice. It's quite quirky. It's colourful. It's yes, interesting.
Yes, it is on PS4. You are correct.
Oh, good.
I think the confusion was maybe I was waiting for a physical version.
Oh, okay.
It's only available digitally, so
okay.
I think I was holding off for a physical.
Oh,
release,
okay.
I don't know if that's going to be the case, but I mean, yeah, if you think it's
we can do something else if you'd rather wait for the physical.
No. I mean, if you think it's going to be a provide good fodder for the show, then I'm up for that.
I think so. I mean, it's up to you, mate. If you want to wait for the physical, we can do something else.
I reckon we could be waiting for a long time for the physical.
Could be.
For PS4.
Yeah.
So let's strike while the iron's hot. Let's do Bugs.
Okay, if you're sure. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Let's do it. Yeah, as I said, it just seemed like a very kind of us sort of game.
Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to do something that is sort of up to date, kind of like, because we don't really have much of a limit on what we do, as long as it makes good conversation. So we haven't done much that's sort of really, really recent. So I wanted to pick something that's kind of, just come out, really.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah, I've played about an hour or so of it already. I think it's about a 10-hour game, so sort of fairly manageable. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant! Well, I'm looking forward to that. Like I say, I've been wanting to play it for a long time since like you say, it was one of the standout games for us when we saw the PS5 announcement.
Yeah, very, very good to see it because it's such a sort of quirky, non-kind of AAA advanced graphics sort of game, and it's great that it was included in that trailer, and actually it was so sort of quirky that it got people talking, didn't it? So it's interesting.
I just love games like that.
Yeah.
I love that we still get games like it.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Well, any other business before we wrap it up?
No, just to reiterate, do not buy from, what's his name? 8-bit-games-1986. Do not buy from this man. He's a con man. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Allegedly.
No, he is a con man. He is a con man. Trust me, he's a con man.
Okay. I'm trying to give you a little legal loophole here in case he comes after you for slander. But no.
Well, if he does, he can explain why he's kept my money and not provided me with a game. There.
I understand your anger. I've never heard you so worked up about it.
It's just got me so worked up, man.
I know. I
can't let it go. I can't let it go. It's wound me up.
It's like Jekyll and Hyde.
It is, yeah. Don't want to mess with me, seriously.
No. Gosh. No, I mean, it's a very stinky situation. So, certainly caveat emptor when it comes to that particular seller.
Yeah.
Well, on a happier note, you can always find us when we will never take your money and not send you a game.
No.
We're at podemup.live and at podemup.
Mm-hmm.
And podemup@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
And podemup on Spotify.
Yeah, we're on Spotify.
And I don't know.
Yeah.
Just shout podemup into the sky, and
you'll probably get that Swedish one, but don't.
Yeah.
It is good that they are a completely different podcast in a completely different language, because if someone's looking for us, they can clearly tell that's not us. So
yeah, I did notice on our listener stats, so there are quite a few listeners in Sweden.
Yeah, I know, it's funny, isn't it?
I wonder if there is a.
It's like the
if
third
you're one
most.
Of our Swedish listeners, please let us know. So we.
It's hilarious, isn't it? It's the third highest listens after America and Britain, and there's got that must be the reason, surely.
It's got to be, hasn't it? It's got to be.
Which kind of suggests they're doing a lot better than we are, but
I wonder if that was the 1-star review
maybe
on Apple.
Probably. This is nothing about Swedish pop culture.
This has got nothing to do with pop culture. 1 star. Well.
If you'd like to leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or whatever it's called, we'd be most grateful for it.
Yeah.
To do that, to counterbalance. I haven't looked at it recently. I don't know what the status is of it at the moment.
I did look at it fairly recently, but I couldn't find any. It's like the ratings were gone. So
yeah, I know. I've struggled to find what the ratings are. You can only find it in some weird parallel universe. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But we love you all anyway, so it's all good.
Doesn't matter what you think of us. We still love you.
No, you're good eggs.
Yeah.
You're good eggs.
Yeah.
Okay, let's wrap it up for tonight then, and thanks all for listening, and let's go snack some bugs.
Let's do it. Bye-bye.
Bye.